Are there serpent-headed shapeshifters among us? Now, I'm not talking necessarily about the lizard people. This is something different, as mentioned in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. Now, yesterday was one of those days where something was not right with me. And that night, my honey said to me, "What is wrong?" And I said, "I don't know, but something terrible is happening somewhere in the world." And later on, I was in a kind of a meditative state, and I heard this screech sound. Like, I can't even describe it. My heart almost stopped beating. It was between a pterodactyl and a lost wailing soul. It was ear-splitting, heart-stopping, bone-shrinking. And then I heard the still small voice of spirit that said to me, "Rebecca, someone or a group have unleashed and called forth the serpent-headed shapeshifters." Now, it might not mean anything to most people. Well, if you heard that screech and then heard the voice of the divine, I think it might mean something. But I wrote this book. I took Thoth the Atlantean asked me to take the original Emerald Tablets and turn it into a study edition that has real easy chapter and verse so people could study it. And in there's a whole section about in the time of Atlantis and even before that these evil people called forth serpent-headed shapeshifters who took the form of men. In the Atlantis time, what these serpent-headed shapeshifters did, they actually took over some of the leaders and, killed them and used their body to do evil and to misuse power. Now, you think anything like that could be going on today? I'm going to read you straight from this book. So you're going to see me looking down to read. So this is from Tablet 8, beginning with verse 12. And Thoth says, "Speak I of ancient Atlantis. Speak of the days of the kingdom of shadows. Speak of the coming of the children of shadows. Out of the deep were they called, by the wisdom of earthmen, called for the purpose of gaining great power. Far in the past, before Atlantis existed, men they were who delved into darkness, using dark magic, calling up beings from the deep below us. Forth came they into this cycle. Formless were they of another vibration, existing unseen by the children of earthmen. Only through blood could they have formed being. Only through man could they live in the world." Now, Thoth is asking me to translate a little bit on that for you. Formless were they of another vibration. They needed to take over a human to have form and to do anything. Only through blood could they have formed being. And we're talking about blood sacrifice. Someone who is so immersed into gaining power, they will offer a blood sacrifice, which only those in dark magic do. I'm going back to read directly from the Emerald Tablets. In ages past were they conquered by masters, driven below to the place whence they came. But some there were who remained, hidden in spaces and plains unknown to man. Lived they in Atlantis as shadows, but at times they appeared among men. When the blood was offered, forth came they to dwell among men. In the form of man, they moved amongst us, but only to sight were they as men, were they as are men. Serpent-headed when the glamour was lifted, but appearing to man as men among men, crept they into the councils, taking forms that were like unto men, slaying by their arts the chiefs of the kingdoms, taking their form and ruling over man. Toad wants me to explain a little bit right now. Crept they into the councils. They came and they crept into the leadership of men and slew them, using their bodies to take their form and rule over man. Back to the emerald tablets. Only by magic could they be discovered. Only by sound could their faces be seen. Sought they from the kingdom of shadows to destroy man and rule in his place. Now I'm going to stop here and talk about sound, because it was this unearthly sound. If exposed to the sound long, it could kill you. So I'm going to give you the solution. I'm not going to give a prophecy without a solution. What's the point? It would be worthless. The key here is sound. So I want you to pay attention and watch this all the way to the end. I'm going to tell you how to use sound for your protection and the suppression of these serpent-headed shapeshifters. But know ye, the masters were mighty at magic, and they were able to lift the veil from the face of the serpent, able to send him back to his place. Came they to man and taught him the secret, the word that only a man can pronounce. Swift then they lifted the veil from the serpent and cast him forth from place among men. Yet beware, the serpent still liveth in a place that is open at times to the world. Unseen they walk among thee, in places where the rites have been set, talking about the blood sacrifice and a ritual. Again, as time passes onward, shall they take the semblance of men. Called they may be by the master, who knows the white or the black, but only the white master may control and bind them while in the flesh. Seek not the kingdom of shadows, for evil will surely appear, for only the master of brightness shall conquer the shadow of fear. Know ye, O my brother, that fear is an obstacle great. Be master of all in the brightness. The shadow will soon disappear. Hear ye and heed my wisdom. The voice as light is clear. Seek not the valley of shadow, and light only will appear. Okay, let me see if that's the very end. Yes. So this is a book. I'll have a link if you want to get it. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is found in part of the revelation about the sound. You, as a light worker, as an ordinary person, have the power to tune into the sound signature of what? God's light. If we all in unison begin to chant, God's light, God's light, God's light, and send it towards our leaders, or just chant it for yourself. It's so important that you not get into fear. Oh, serpent-headed. Please, time to wake up and take your spiritual authority. Simply chant God's light. I use that mantra all the time. Not get into fear. Let's get back to the light. Not get into fear. Fear and hatred are food for the dark. When you're chanting God's light, and say you're chanting it towards a certain leader that you don't approve of, if you have hatred in your heart, hatred is hatred. It doesn't matter if it's from a light worker or a shapeshifter. God's light. Ask God's light to purify your heart. And another mantra you can say, talking about blood sacrifice, we have the power of Jesus Christ. If you prefer, you can just chant Christ's light or Jesus Christ's light, whatever feels good to you. The important thing is, let's band together and do this simple thing that shows that we're calling for the light no matter what's going on, instead of saying, oh, look at what that leader's doing, look at this, look at that, look at all the evil in the world. Get your eyes off the evil. Your energy flows where your attention goes. Put your attention on what? God's light. God's light. God's light. I'm Rebecca, and I have a special gift for you if you would like to be more awakened. The great avatar Mataji just did an awakening ray transmission. I'll put a link down below. It's free, so you can, well, she's saying to tell you it's not exactly free. You know why? Because your very valuable time will be given into taking in this awakening ray. Share this video as you feel guided, remembering, yes, they have been called forth, the evil shapeshifters, and yes, we have God's light. One other thing I want to mention before I go is that Spirit said to me that you can direct this phrase also toward the ocean floor, because there are apertures in the ocean floor that when the plates shift and they have some activity, it makes it easier for the shapeshifters to emerge. And let me ask Toth, is there anything else? The dragonfly is his symbol. If you see a picture of one or one flies by you soon, you'll know that you're having a blessing from Toth the Atlantean. So, God's light to you and to all that you love and to all that you are.